doing it. We are live.
We are live, everyone. The Making Waves Mindset Show first live stream.
That's it.
That's it.
Stick with us. There's going to be some bumps in the road.
Yeah.
But let's do one of these. Ready?
Yes. There we go, everyone. Well, welcome to another fine edition of the Making Waves Mindset Show.
Yes, welcome.
If it is your first time,
it's been a while first.
It's been a little bit for us. We've been all over the place, Dave, and we're back. We haven't, forgotten about the community. We've been here. Thanks for those who have reached out, though.
And thank you for people who are subscribing. If it is your first time, as you were saying, and I rudely interrupted you.
Oh, that's okay.
If it is your first time, welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to everyone else. Yeah. And thanks for pushing that subscribe button and following us and sharing and reviewing. And we see you, we hear you, and it's awesome to have you part of our community.
Absolutely.
As this is sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. We have lots to say. It's been too long.
If it is your first time following the Making Waves Mindset Show, this is a entrepreneurial hotspot. This is where we want to bring like-minded entrepreneurs who have left the 9-to-5. Both Dave and I have left the 9-to-5. It has been a rocky journey, but what's that phrase? You may win the war, but you might win the battle, but you got to go after the war. You might not win the battle, but you can win the war, something like that. There's lots of stuff that goes on, whatever. But, at the end of the day, it has been a sombering experience, but a very rewarding experience for both of us. So if you're looking to leave the 9-to-5, Dave and I are sharing the ups and downs of our personal journey, which is really the premise of the show. But we are also bringing on incredible people that we have surrounded ourselves with to share their success. And they may be decades ahead of us, or they may actually be somebody who just said, Richard, Dave, I saw your show 3 months ago and I decided it's time to leave. And they are going to share what they're doing now because that story is going to resonate with someone else.
That's right. As we always say, or as I like to say, if you are watching the show, you're enjoying it, please share it with other people. The only way to continue this is if we are putting an impact on people's lives. This is obviously not a paid show. We're not sponsored by anyone. We don't cut the show halfway and say, this is a message from your sponsor.
That's right.
But the only way for us to keep going is if we feel that we're giving back and we're hearing from people and we're putting an impact onto people's lives, and it will give us an avenue to keep going. Yeah. So if you do enjoy the show, please share it. If you don't enjoy an episode, let us know. Put a review in. We'd love to hear why you don't enjoy an episode and share it with someone who might. Yeah. Just share it anyways. Yeah. Why not? You might be in that inspirational person in someone's life. So share, make a review, and let us know.
Well, we love it. Well, we're trying something different, as we've discussed our first live stream. We've gotten rid of our background banners, Dave. That feels so naked. I feel like I'm exposed,
I know. It's interesting. We started with a background back in when we started the podcast, which was done within 2 seconds on like Microsoft Word. I said Microsoft Word.
And maybe Canva, I don't even know, man.
Yeah, I can't remember. We did a background. That lasted probably, a couple episodes. Yeah. And then
at least 2 years, at least two like physical years, not show years per se.
No, I'm talking about like even the first one, like the very first episode. I don't think we had the banner up yet.
You know what? You're right. Now I'm starting to remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we did the one that we've had for the last 2 years, and
that's right.
That's been great. And then this morning we were thinking, okay, we're gonna go live. Let's try something different, right? Just do the background where we're sitting. So and hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully it's a little more raw. It's not as ghosty sometimes. We're not going to disappear into the background.
That was the problem I was having. For those who don't know, Dave would always be like, hey, you're disappearing. And, I have an older computer system here. So it's telling me it's like a 720p camera. But if I'm doing videos for my other stuff in the day, I'm like, I look beautiful and golden. So it was just depending on like the darkness or the camera or the filter. And I was driving Dave nuts. Like, you disappeared on us. But
Yeah,
we have always had that problem, even back to our very first recordings as
that's
we
true.
try different platforms. But
Yeah,
anyways,
that's true.
let's get down to business.
One day we'll be in a studio,
You
and
know
it's
what?
gonna be like the pinnacle of Joe Roganist videos.
Cigars, a few drinks,
You got it. You
laughter.
got it. Yeah, you got it.
I can
Well,
see it now.
because it's been a while,
It
we
has
would
been.
like to catch everyone up on what's been going on with our lives. We might have some big reveals today in terms of some up and coming stuff, and yeah, let's jump in. I will defer to you, Rich.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I want to put I'll put you on the spot right away. It's I always love to listen to your up and coming stuff. So let's do
All
that, and then
right.
I'll get into some of my nuances and how the business is going and where we're going and stuff like that.
Cool. Well, on the show, we talk about the downs. We know that. And it's a good opportunity to share some
Hmm.
frustrations we've had in trying to get our franchise open. So if you kind of go back maybe even earlier this year, we were discussing the stale house market and how we had some properties that we were trying to liquidate to help fund the equipment and vehicle purchase for our franchise in the US. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And we knew it was going to happen, but it got to the point where the funding in our business plan to make these extremely important purchases was not there. And so we're in this awkward holding pattern right now. The franchise has been phenomenal to work with. We were waiting on some stuff from them much longer than we've been trying to get some stuff going. So it's kind of balancing out. It's kind of like, hey, you had us wait, we're gonna make you wait a little. But the downs of this is when you think everything is going your way, I wouldn't say your way, I'm not trying to sound ego, but the way that you've planned in your business plan, or the goals that you've set, there are some nasty roadblocks that come in, and it is effing frustrating. I thought for sure by this new year, even by April, we would have had, even September last year, we would have had something opened and operational. But it doesn't matter how much money you've put down for franchise fees, for the budget, for everything, there's always something that changes. So, is there a lesson that can be learned? I don't know. There's a part of me that is wondering, should we have had that capital already available for a vehicle and equipment? But on the other side, they also know there are trillions of investors who come in to purchase franchise who need to liquidate or will do something as the process is going on in order to free up additional capital, right? It wasn't a roadblock to purchase and to get the territory set aside. No problem. Capital's there. But it's these smaller things that, when you're planning for something, it's frustrating. So what we were trying to do was raise capital, reaching out to people we knew, anybody in the business community. Part of the biggest roadblock is being a non-American. Yes, you can open a franchise or a business anywhere in the world, but in this situation, we had to rely on pure capital. So what we're doing today is we were trying to find someone, and this is maybe my, poke. Maybe there's somebody out there, Dave. We're looking anywhere from about 250 to 350,000 Canadian or US currency. And if you happen to have that, you would like to borrow it and make some money off that for a period of no more than 2 years, let me know. So that's what we're waiting for. So as that goes on, Dave and I had some great conversations because there was a low point, and I'm like, I'm getting frustrated. There's a few things happening. Got to bring the income in. We can't, sit here now waiting for something that hasn't been going forward, because there were things in the back burner, working with the accountants, working with marketing, planning the business plan into further details based on the territories. But now everything's on hold. So what are we going to do? So Dave and I had some conversations, and something that I'm excited to share now that Dave doesn't know about, but he might know about, but I don't know, I'm just going to say it, is I am going to be opening like ASAP. It's already open. It's live. I am going after anybody who needs help and support in the hiring process. And the niche is going to be specific to policing. However, I'm going to be putting it out there for anyone looking for support for their mindset. And ultimately, Dave, my goal in this new online business is to empower those who need confidence, purpose, and direction in their life. So I'm just going to be starting my coaching and mentoring business because I've had people constantly ask me for years for help, support, and guidance.
Mhm.
I'm not even lying when I tell you this morning, I woke up, and there's a message from someone I've known for over a decade going, I need your motivation. I need your support. I need help with fitness. I'm like, I'm
Right.
not no fitness god, but it was, I see what you're doing online. I need somebody who can help and guide me with that. I'm like, okay, well, let's have that conversation. So the socials have changed. I've created my apply form. So if you know someone who is dying to enter the emergency services or policing field and they want that support of how to become proficient and a very good communicator in your interviews, you want to have an understanding of the hiring process and do these practices to build your confidence, let me know. I will be there to help you and guide you through that process. So for the last few days, I've been working my ass off on coming up with a program on building resumes, building
Mhm.
competencies, and how to prepare your mindset. And it kind of ties into the show because a lot of the stuff is what we talk about.
Right.
It's the mindset and instilling people to do it. For those who don't know, I have been doing this for over a decade, but I've never charged anybody for it. It was just a magnet. I've always asked myself, why are people always coming to me? They're asking me for help and guidance. So, over the last decade, almost 12 years or so now, these individuals are all successful police officers. That's where the niche began. And even this past, if you want to call it the start of the spring, I'm working with an individual right now for a regional police agency, and he's been hammering hard. I had somebody else who I helped 3 years ago going, like recently, you need to do this. It's very imperative you get out there and do this. You have a gift, so do it. And so we're doing it. We're doing it. I'm not holding
Okay.
back, Dave. I have like this sense of energy
It's awesome.
that I haven't had in a long time, just to go hard on this and just do it. F everything else right now. Build this online business, focus on the law enforcement, the emergency services niche, and anybody who wants help,
Mm.
and then branch out to mindset and other stuff. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be some other life or, accountability coach
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
I don't want to sound cheesy. Everyone's like a coach, Dave, but
Everyone is. So I wanted just to jump back to what you were saying and sort of touch on things for some people because great points. First of all, congratulations.
thanks.
I think it's a great thing that you're doing, and I think it's going to benefit people immensely. The ability to impart your knowledge on people and provide guidance and direction and a purpose
Mhm.
for people who feel lost or feel confused or who just get um, mixed up in uh, the web of information that's out there,
Yeah.
to have one spot where they can obtain credible, knowledgeable, and honest information from somebody is important. So the fact that you're now providing this service to people and you're putting yourself out there, I think it's a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
Um, I want to jump back to some of the comments you were saying about, realistic timelines and things not working out and stuff like that, and going into different directions and in essence pivoting and stuff like that. I think as an entrepreneur, I think things that you what am I trying to say? F- Timelines is something that we put expectations on all the time.
Yes.
And uh, one thing I said to another business owner recently was that the timelines that we put into place for things are not realistic based on what we want sometimes, because
Mhm.
not everything that we want is within our control.
That's right.
And because it's not in our control, we can't always put a timeline on achieving those specific goals. So, certain industries, when you put timelines on them, you're going to be disappointed because you put
Yes.
an unrealistic timeline. So, for example, brick and mortar. And the one thing I learned from building out our first studio was that the timeline that I had in my head that was, I thought, conservative was unrealistic because it's depending on somebody else to do their job. And when you depend on someone else to do their job, you don't know what priorities they have.
Yeah.
You don't know where you fall in line with those priorities. You don't know what other things they have on the go that maybe put you to the side. Once you start spreading out your expectations to other people to do their work, that's when your expectations of timelines change. That being said, you can set your own. I don't want to be a bah humbug when it comes to setting expectations for yourself, because
Totally.
you're in control of those. You have the ability to say, okay, for example, I'm going to lose X amount of weight by X amount of date. I'm going to finish this, assignment that I have. I'm going to finish this project by a certain date. As long as it's you solely doing the work, because you can set your own expectations. Once you venture out into areas where you're relying on other people, other agencies, other organizations, other just people wise, you cannot set the expectation the same as what you want.
Yeah.
So, that's sort of in a nutshell in business world that I'm learning real quick, is that you cannot expect things to get done to the level that you want them to get done once they leave your plate. So you sort of have to dial back your expectations or be very conservative with your future expectations of when you're going to complete stuff. So that's, the one thing I wanted to touch on what you were saying. And in relation to the way you were going and building the franchise out, unfortunately, your timeline, your expectations were based on other people's doing things.
100%.
And because it
Absolutely.
was based on that, it didn't come to fruition to the timeline that you wanted.
Yeah, and that's the struggle. And you brought up a very interesting point, because for some reason I was getting a flashback to the uniform days there. But it's like, as a business owner, even you have an expectation to do things a certain way, and it's like control, right? Because the way you do it's going to be perfect, it's going to be on time, whatever. But as a business owner, you have to learn to further trust and allow your employees and people around you in your power team to carry the weight for certain things. So like you say, you're relying on some of them for their expertise. You just have to accept it's not going to be the exact way you do it. And I used to have a supervisor who was very, let's say, anal about how everything had to be a certain way. And you would have other employees going like, listen, we don't think like you. We don't eat like you. We don't act like you. We were never raised like you. We all have different ways of doing things. If we can get to the goal at the end the same way, like there's a hill. How are we going to get up the hill? Some people might run, walk it, climb it, roll it. There are different ways to get to the top. So just know you'll get there. It might be slower than others. And as we are awaiting certain things to happen, then we will have to adapt. And that's the beauty of having that freedom to pivot and change the direction a little.
Yeah, definitely. I find that also with this, with technology change, as the years have gone by, I'm from an age where I did my first, elementary school paper was on a typewriter. Right? I'm that old. Right. So I can remember having a typewriter and typing out before computers came around.
This is where Dave makes a Max Headroom reference, and I still don't know who Max Headroom is. Like what?
I'm gonna cut
Care
in
Bears?
the next. I'm gonna get a cut in of Max Headroom for everyone.
Dave, there's some features on the screen here. I'm looking at it as you're taling too. There's a plus. Like, who knows what we can do with this now, right?
We're gonna add some videos. In. Yeah, maybe we'll get sued by Max Headroom or something.
Oh, geez, I hope not. But the typewriters.
So like with technology change, what I've learned is that because we moved from typewriters, where it takes time, it takes, the process of a typewriter. For those who don't know a typewriter, because maybe you're born nowadays and you've never seen a typewriter or used a typewriter. Typewriter is a manual computer. Basically, you have to type each letter, and then a big metal arm comes up and pushes the letter into the paper with ink. So a manual typewriter is what I started on. And it takes time to write out as fast as you can type. The letters will go onto the paper. So it's a manual thing. So your expectations of the output of the work you're putting in is determined based on the speed that you can type, the paper you're putting in, the potential mistakes that you have to use whiteout, a liquid paint on your paper to white out the letter.
The paper would look messy because there's all this liquid paint everywhere.
Exactly. So there's expectation of the stuff you put in, the time it's going to take. Nowadays, when you have things like what's it called? Chat AI, Chat GT.
GDP or
Yeah.
GTP or yeah.
When you have a program where you can just say to them, write a report, and within a split second,
Millisecond.
it's writing a report for you,
Yeah.
where it would have taken me 4 hours to do back in the typewriter days. Our expectations of timelines have changed immensely, right? We're now in an age where we have instant access to things. I can think about buying something, talk about it, and then my phone is telling me where I can buy it. I can go on Amazon and tomorrow have something delivered to my house. The day of expectations have increased, and sometimes,
The want it now. It's the urgency,
yeah,
right?
but I think, the point I'm getting at is it has changed our mindset to think that everything is like that.
Yeah.
If I
Sure.
can go on the computer and order something and get it tomorrow from
Yeah.
a different country, then why can't I have this today? Why can't I do that tomorrow? Why can't I excel this? So I
True.
think that's where our expectations are, and other people's expectations, and especially this generation that's come around now, our expectations are different for
Yeah.
time wise, and sometimes it's out of our control.
Yeah.
And we tend to sometimes get hard on ourselves or get disappointed by the timelines when they don't come to fruition on our own.
Totally. Absolutely.
And I think this was a long way of just getting to the point of saying, let's be realistic and not put those timelines on ourselves unless it's just us doing it.
Yeah.
You got to hold yourself accountable, but you can only hold so many people accountable.
That's
Does that make
the
sense?
it does make sense, and it's imperative that anybody thinking of wanting to move on be prepared for that, because there are so many moving parts. And I think, Dave, why we get along so well is that we're that calm, neutral party. We don't get really super excited in terms of things aren't going our way and having a meltdown and table flip. And I think that
I've only
aids.
flipped 4 tables this week, so we're good.
Okay, well, there you go. That's Dave. I will send you to somebody to send help. And no, I'm kidding.
Send me to a smash room. You've seen those smash rooms?
I have, yes, breaking plates and
Yeah,
throwing
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Maybe we have to have like a contest and invite the calmest members of the mindset community.
I don't see I don't know. I guess maybe it's because we are calm. I don't see the draw to do that.
I'm
To
more
go into a
concerned
room
about the
and break
mess
stuff.
that's been made. I'm like, ooh, that's a lot of cleaning
Yeah,
there. I don't know if I want to.
my OCD kicks in, right?
Right. But I think we also this is part of like a broader thing, and this is why I want to do my coaching stuff. It's realizing that you are not the other person that you see on the screen all the time, that's instantly in the palm of your hand telling you how perfect their life is. Look, I'm amazing. It's understanding that we all have strengths and weaknesses, and we can adapt to those things, but we can't mirror identically what that other person is doing. So those expectations that are there, or why aren't things going my way? This person has a perfect this, everything's amazing that. You need to find a way to just mold into what's happening. And this is why I think it's been beneficial for Dave and I as friends to come together to do the show. And we have very similar mindset that we are not, going to lose our minds. Yes, there are some frustrating points, and we've shared them on the show, or Dave and I will call one another. But at the end of the day, we just understand this is life. Don't, what's that? Don't water off a duck's back. Don't sweat the small stuff is a phrase I've had since I was a kid. And it drives me nuts when I say it. But
the guest that we had on last time, Bassam, he posted on social media the other day is about comparing yourself to others. And
yes,
it's something that as an entrepreneur you end up doing, right? You
yes,
say, well, hold on a second, that guy has a multi-billion-dollar business or a
yes,
multi-million-dollar business. Why can't I? The comparison to the why can't I be like that person is not a bad thing, but it shouldn't be an expectation.
correct.
Looking at somebody else's life and saying, well, how did they get to there? Why can't I do it? Doesn't mean you can't do it. Just means they're in a different race than you are.
Yes,
They're they've done something, and just like our guests that come on the show, they've done something differently than you have, at a
yes,
different pace than you have.
yes,
Doesn't mean you're not going to be in their shoes one day, you'll just be in your shoes in the same potential position.
Yes.
So we got to be very, very careful of who we compare ourselves to. I know I heard that a lot when I was in law enforcement from people. I spent a lot of time in a recruiting area and advertising. The last corporation that I worked for, I spent time in schools speaking to students, and currently I speak to students every day as an instructor for college. So I speak to the students, and a lot of things I hear out of their voices. Oh, my friend got hired in 1 month. My friend just got hired to this police department in 3 months. How long is it going to take me? And how long am I going to do this? And when am I going to do this? And I'm hearing it from younger and younger people too. So
Hmm.
the one thing that you have to be realistic about is your timelines, not someone else's timelines. You don't
Yes.
know what that person did leading up to them getting there,
Yes.
right? You didn't follow their journey the whole time.
It's an interesting perspective too, because maybe we got to do like a whole podcast on the recruitment, the mindset. That could be just like a fun specialty episode, but it's interesting to see that you are hearing it from younger people and that
Mhm.
expectation, but think about how they've been raised. Like society has built individuals into this direction where that's what they're expecting all the time. It's like, what do you mean I got to wait 10 minutes for coffee? Meanwhile, you and I are like, do you know what a drip is? Like,
Well, yeah, I think
a
back.
French press takes a little while too. It's not instant, walk into your
Mhm.
favorite coffee chain and it's being handed to you in milliseconds,
Yeah. But I don't get me wrong. There's been very good things that have come out of the instant world, right?
Yes.
There's really good things, but there's something to be said about patience. Patience
Yeah.
is a virtue, right? There's
Yes.
something to be said about waiting, and there's something to be said about
Yes.
time. And I think we've lost a bit of that in terms of our personal expectations sometimes. So we just got to sort of check ourselves
Yes.
before you wreck yourself,
Yes.
right?
It's true. It's very true. It's
Yeah.
very true. So that's kind of been the stuff with me at the moment, more or less,
That's awesome.
So it's been
What's the name?
fun.
Have
And
you named it?
you know what? See, I have a name, Dave, but I'm holding off on the name because it's going for a bigger, better item. Like this is
Right.
the stepping stone to what I want to do right now. So I've
Fair.
locked down names and domains and stuff, but
Cool.
listen, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on
Mhm.
the link tree, you can find me through the show. And if you know someone in your community who really could benefit from help with cover letters, building resumes, selling themselves, mindset preparedness, all that stuff
Yeah.
for the hiring process in law enforcement or out, we'll
Awesome.
do our one-on-one sessions, we'll do them live on video. You can reach out. So but we'll save the next chapter. I was thinking if I should merge the two, Dave, and I don't
Yeah.
think so. I think it's a whole different thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
The glass breaks on the ship today. And
Champagne.
champagne. Yeah, that's right.
Well, Dave, what's going on in the? Well, hold on. Let's go back. I had a chance to
Yes.
come down
You
to
did.
your beautiful studio the other week.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you are finally back in Canada.
I am finally back. As you can tell, I'm a little pale.
Reluctantly back in Canada for now.
But yeah, I braved the morning going all the way downtown Toronto,
Right.
but it was worth it. I got to walk into a comfortable, cozy, warm studio, meet your incredible staff. I even said to Dave as soon as you opened the door, I'm like, "Oh, this feels like a place I got to take my shoes off in," because you just have left this incredible impression and feeling. You can feel the energy as you come in for the perfect stretch. And I have to congratulate you. From the drawings to
Right.
I was in it. I'm like, wow.
The one thing I have to say about our studio is the feeling that you get when you walk through the door that you're at home. And
That's exactly the feeling.
So, and I can't take all the credit for it, or even any credit almost, but I take some of the credit, but not all the credit, because the design obviously it's part of a franchise. So the
Yes.
design of the place, the aesthetics, all that kind of stuff is designed out by the company themselves. So
Yes.
they've done a real good job, and I give them a lot of credit in terms of the design and the feel. But the atmosphere and the feel is I'll take full credit for, but add to my staff. My
Yes.
staff do a great job. We've hired some fantastic people. They make the environment welcoming.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what an environment looks like, you have to have people that are happy.
Yes.
And,
There were
for the
smiles on those faces
yeah,
for
for
those who
those
I met. Yeah.
for those who walk into a room, you know what I'm talking about. You
Yeah.
can walk into a room that looks beautiful aesthetically, but the people inside the room are cold. You will get the feeling of coldness. So yes, there's a
Very true.
lot to say about the aesthetics, the carpets, the temperature, the smell, the paintings on the wall, all of it's beautiful and gorgeous, and we get a ton of compliments on that. I'm more apt to um, be happy about the attitudes of our staff and the feeling and the greetings you get and the smiles on the faces, and even from our customers, the people who
Yes.
are on the bench, right? That
Yes.
that feeling of coming into a place that's warm and enticing and exciting to come into.
Yes.
That's what I'm happy to say we're doing a real good job at.
A
And
fantastic job.
I give all the credit to my staff because they're very happy people.
Yeah.
And it's just
Teamwork
on
makes the dream work,
yeah,
right?
and just on that note of keeping employees happy, I'm finding out how easy it is to do. It is not a hard thing to keep people happy. You just have to treat people like human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that throughout my whole career, I couldn't understand why you had employees that were disgruntled, why you had people who were unhappy to come
Mm-hmm.
to work that were
Mm-hmm.
making over $100,000 a year, why you have people that are leaving those type of positions. I understand it now as a business owner. I understand how to keep people happy. It's easy. It is easy. Choose the one word of advice I would give for any other business owner who's listening to this, or potential people who are going to employ people or supervise people. Give people back what you think will make them happy,
Yes.
and don't take anything from them. Don't take anything.
That includes coffee.
Yeah.
It's a true
Don't
story.
don't take anything from people. Don't take anything. Give back everything. As a leader, you will succeed further in life. You will succeed further in your business if you don't take things from people. And it might be very generic what I'm saying, but I'm really mean it in everything, in money, in time, in energy. Just give.
Yeah.
Your staff, the people you work for, the people that work for you, will be a lot happier.
Totally. You couldn't have said it any better, because as you were saying that, there were some feelings going through me, and I was like, Dave, you hit it perfectly. I think that, well, it goes back to even some of our very first shows where we spoke about how we know what never ever to do to the people that are going to be a part of our success.
That's right.
And to give them success and empower them to be incredible individuals. And, to those who are still in it, you can leave, do it, move on, and don't be afraid. It's rewarding, but if you're not willing to take risks and take action and dream bigger, think bigger, right? Make waves in life, then you're going to be there. So Dave, that's incredible. So congratulations on the official opening, because you also had your grand opening too, just the week or so before.
Yeah. So we did. So we've been open since January. The studio's been operating since January. And it is. I didn't. The studio's been operating since January. It was a great start to our studio. The grand opening is more like of a marketing thing, but it's a retail thing. So in the retail world, once you get to grand opening, you don't really give as many discounts on your memberships, and you change your prices a bit. It goes to retail, so it gives people the opportunity to come in at a lower end price. And now we're at a retail price, but it's been great. It's been well received by people in Toronto. We're in this little niche area of Toronto. If you're from Toronto, it's Adelaide and Spadina area. If you're not from Toronto, it's in the downtown core. It's in an area that was commonly called the Garment District in Toronto, and it was all factories that were in the garment industry, and they were making everything from suits to shirts, and there was all the major companies in
Oh,
Toronto. So
wow.
if you look back into the history books, this was the area that all the manufacturers who were making clothing for Toronto plus other areas in the world had factories.
Wow.
The location that we moved in, funny thing is it used to be a mannequin shop. It used to be a shop where,
What?
yeah, where mannequins were made.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so if you look back into and Google, I just found this out just on a side note. Google Street View has an amazing little thing now that
Okay.
you can, once you go onto Google Street View and look as you're standing on the street, you can then click below on your computer to see previous photos from previous years, and it all almost backdates like sometime to almost like 10 years ago even.
Oh my gosh.
So you can backdate on our location and see the mannequin shop.
Oh my gosh.
So it's pretty cool in that way.
Were there any left over in the closets there?
No, 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 no. They had done it was 3 units. It was 3 the 3 front units. So the unit that we're in plus the 2 beside us was all a mannequin shop.
Wow.
And they demised it all, and we got our unit years later. Um, but what was I saying? I
Well,
lost my train.
the
Oh,
history of
right,
the
right, right.
garment.
So the history of the garment district. So because it was a garment district, the only people down there were Monday to Friday, basically workers. So it has changed over the years, and it is slowly now changing into an area where people are coming to live, and they're building lots of condos, and they're building things for people to do. The street that we're on is slowly becoming like a wellness little hub of Toronto. There's
Oh,
there
wow.
yeah, so we moved in, we're here. Before us, there was a healthy coffee food place called Impact Kitchen. There's a place across the street that does hot sauna, cold baths. It's called
Wow.
Other Ship. There's a place that just moved beside Other Ship called Nut Bar, which is like healthy shakes. There's just down the street, there's a small Pilates studio opening up to a bigger space. There's about 4 or 5 different private small gyms in the area with one-on-one training. There's a nutrition house called Lift the City that has sells supplements in the area. That's one street over. Then there's another little area that's opening up a little food court, a healthy food court. There's on Richmond Street, just behind our studio, there's a whole laneway plus businesses that sell art. So it is becoming like a wellness little hub. And I had a great meeting yesterday with a local BIA, which is the Business Improvement Association. For those in the States, it's like Chamber of Commerce. And I told them that we need to rename this area to the Wellness Avenue or Wellness Hub of Toronto.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wonderful thing for Toronto. I think people have been, especially with the pandemic, people have been looking for something to give them more um, stability in their lives outside of just the gym,
Mhm.
traditional gym.
Mhm.
So it's been great to that aspect. Our grand opening was a hit. We were packed. We were so many people coming into the business just to see us and to
Well, you're Canada's
test us
first.
out.
That you
We
gotta
are,
brag
we
it.
are
You were
right.
Canada's first. You set the benchmark for any future locations that open, but you were the first to bring it to the country, which is a
Yeah,
story in itself.
yeah, yeah. We were lucky enough to be and honored to bring this brand because I think it's something that is great for people. Obviously, we believe in the product of stretching, and it is something that is very, very helpful for you in terms of your longevity in life, and it will help you a lot. So if you are in the States and you're around, I say in the States because there's only one here in Canada. So there's more coming, by the way, but if you are in the States, I'm sure there's one not far from you. Go visit and get a stretch. If you are in Canada and you're in Toronto and you're downtown, come visit us, please.
Mhm.
If even if you're not, just come on downtown, come to the wellness hub area of Toronto and come for a stretch, go for a cold bath, sauna, go for a nice meal at Impact Kitchen, go for a shake at Nut Bar, head over to the supplement store, buy some supplements, come down to this area. It's a great little area, and it's been a
Easy
great
to get
business.
to.
Yeah.
Easy to get to.
On that note, we are opening up our second location.
Okay, we got to insert a sound, Dave. Where's our sound bar?
So
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. So
Uh,
we've listened to the industry, and we've listened to the people out there, and there's a lot of demand for our services, and it's been great. Probably at least once a week, we're getting a phone call saying,
I'm trying. I can't find any
"Yeah,
celebratory music. You know, that's
that's the
our.
kind of music you're gonna listen to when you're getting a stretch." But um, yeah, we get at least a couple calls a week that say, "When you coming out over to this area? How come you're not in this area?" I was speaking to a woman on the phone just the other day. She says, "If you were closer to Mississauga, I would come every day. I need
Wow.
this in my life." It's funny because people will call and say, "I'd like to come in for a stretch. Where are you?" And I tell them, "Well, we're at Adelaide and Spadina." "Oh, okay. When's your location in the north opening?"
And they're like, there isn't one.
And I'm like,
There
"There
isn't
isn't
one.
one. We're the only one
Yeah.
in Canada right now."
Yeah.
And they're shocked and stuff like that. So I think it's
But
gonna
that's
be
good
fun.
because
Yeah,
your marketing has worked.
right.
You guys have set the benchmark for your marketing, and you're
Mhm.
hitting audiences all over the place, and people know about it and they want to
Right.
be a part of this experience. I even said to you, I'm like, man, if there's one slightly closer to me, I'd be there every day. Or if I lived right downtown, I'd go every day because I'm starting to realize the benefits, even myself, of stretching.
Yep.
And, I kind of wish I was doing this stuff way earlier. And you
Oh,
put me
yeah.
on that machine, that little computer thing, and it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
fail, you
Yeah.
know, mobility issue.
The one biggest thing that I've learned, and I'm by far not an expert in stretching, and that's why I've hired a fantastic staff and a qualified staff and people who really know about the stretching world. I can speak about stretching forever with
Mhm,
you, but
mhm.
I don't go hands-on. I don't stretch people. I go stretched. I get stretched every Sunday.
Wow.
Go in for my stretch for 50 minutes and I get stretched, a great feeling. But the one thing I've learned over this process was a lot of people, when they get into the mindset of I need to be healthy, the last thing they think of is a wellness plan outside of the gym.
It's true.
And the problem with not having a wellness plan outside of the gym is what happens when you get injured?
Yeah.
What happens when you cannot go to the gym?
Everyone stops. We
Right.
come to a sudden stop.
So your wellness plan goes to shit, right? So having a plan outside of the gym and getting into a routine outside of the gym is so important. And I've learned that myself since I've started going to StretchLab. And don't even listen to me. Go on. There's a whole bunch of good Google reviews that we have about our studio. Since I've been going to StretchLab, I've not injured myself at the gym. I've stayed more flexible. I've stayed more time in the gym now. I've been able to go more than I used to go, and stay injury free, which keeps me at the gym, which keeps me on track to my goals.
I think I need to just do a membership, come down once a month, just suck up the traffic, support you, get down there.
There you go. There you go. Right?
It was funny
You
that
know,
morning.
everyone needs to stretch.
Oh, yes.
Even
Yeah,
the most flexible people out
yeah,
there need to stretch.
yeah, yeah. I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it as I lift heavier weights. I'm like, oh, this foam roller is just not doing it. Like,
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody else could push me into shape there a
Yeah.
little, get those
So
muscles
we
flowing.
are on track to build out another one by the end of this year. We're looking at
Congratulations.
Bloor West, we're coming for you. So we will be in the
Fantastic.
west end of the city, which but on that note, and I am very happy to say that there are other owners coming to Canada. So for those of you who are listening to us from other areas of Canada, there's owners in Vancouver that are building out studios. There's owners in Calgary. There's owners in Edmonton. There's owners in the north side of Toronto building out Midtown Toronto. There's owners, so there's more owners who are building out StretchLab studios. So if you haven't had the opportunity to come to one, they're coming. It just takes some time. Go back to that time thing, that expectation of time. As I said to an owner, take your expectations and double it in terms of time wise to build out your studio. But they're coming. So you'll see the brand more and more and more.
Hmm.
Hint, if you're watching breakfast television on the 18th of April,
Yes.
you might see me.
So I'm having some fun. Check it out. Breakfast television.
Check it out, Breakfast Television. Also, probably next month, you'll see, if you watch Zoomer TV and One TV, you'll see us
And those are the local networks here in the
Toronto.
city. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
But it's been a great process. I'm really enjoying it. It's so much fun. I love the one aspect that, and I had a meeting yesterday with someone from the BDC, which is the Business Development Corporation. They give small loans to entrepreneurs and stuff. And we were talking just about the ability to employ people and give people jobs, and seeing how fortunate they are to have a job that they love, and to see their smiles on the face when I walk into the studio and see how happy they are, and to give them the ability to get to their goals.
Yes.
Is such a good feeling. It really is. It really is a good feeling. We employ 20 people.
That's huge. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's been a great process to get there, and I'm loving it. Once our next studio is open and fully operating and running, we'll have, over 40 people that we're employing, giving jobs to part-time and full-time. So
this is
I
huge.
think it's an amazing thing for our economy. I think it's a great thing for the people who come and use our service, and I'm looking forward to continuing and building more and more and more studios.
Do it.
It's been fun.
Do it. I love it.
Fun.
Well, I think that's a wrap for a quick recap.
Definitely.
Dave and I aim for weekly episodes, but for the first time in our show history, we had a few slowdowns, but that's okay. So we're happy to be back. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to any one of us for anything, let us know. Dave and I are very receptive. You can find us on our socials. Now, thanks to some new features, you can see Dave's social just below his name. You got mine below my name. Dave, anything else you want to add?
You can find me on Instagram, David A. Moskowitz, LinkedIn. Reach out to me.
Yeah.
I'm accessible, so reach out to me, and we can have a conversation about anything you need. I know a couple people in the industry that will help you out if you're trying to get on a police department. His name's Richard DiBiase.
I'm kind of tempted now just to break. I don't even why am I not even saying the name that I think I should spill the beans. I think I should just let it go. I think I have to see Dave's reaction. I'm going to say it, Dave.
All right.
Okay. It's called The Mindset Philanthropist.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to play on a little bit of philanthropy and giving value back, helping humankind in some way of the mindset space. But thank you, Dave. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. I also know somebody, if you need a quality stretch by a qualified flexologist, you should check Dave out in downtown Toronto. You can also find me on all the same socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I think that's everything. So listen, leave a review, leave a comment, share the show. Okay.
We've lost you. I don't know why we lost your audio there.
You did? I'm
here.
I'm still here. Oh,
you went mute when we activated the
music?
Outro music.
Oh no. So. Okay. Well, it's the usual runt out there, everyone. Dream bigger, make waves, take action. You know where to find us. Okay.
Have a great day.
Have a great one. Talk to you on our next episode.